What is it like to be an animal communicator? I've been asked this question many, many times. So I will do my best here to share with you what it feels like for me. So to do that, I feel like I'd like to share a little bit about animal communication and how it happened for me. So when people first hear about animal communication, most are skeptical. Many think it's impossible, or it must be a trick of the mind. There must be some other explanation. And I understand this. But today I'm here to tell you my story. And I'm not here to change your mind. I'm not here to convince you of anything. For it is only you that can decide what feels right for you. As a little girl in Africa, I found humans rather disappointing. They seemed to be inconsistent. They didn't really see me. They didn't really understand me. And it felt like so many assumptions and judgments were placed upon me. As a young girl, I wanted to find solace. Solace for my heart to land in safety and open fully. Solace and love, whatever that meant at that age. I mean, the human world can often be a really lonely place for a child. And so what I found was my peace and solace in animals. It was their purity, their non-judgmental energy. They accepted me. They saw me. They didn't try and box me or judge me. And there weren't any expectations. I was just myself. And all I could feel was a deep sense of love. Whatever that meant at that age, that acceptance, it was genuine. It didn't have any boundaries. It was quiet and it was pure. It enveloped me like a safety blanket. It was a feeling unlike any feeling I'd felt before as a young girl. They were able to find the recesses of what could be termed sadness at that age that no one else could. Embodied in a little body in a big world where adults thought differently. And sometimes I didn't understand. And the animals saw my tears, the tears of my heart. And sometimes I didn't even know I had them. And they poured love and this feeling of acceptance onto them so I could smile again. That little kid smile, when little kids smile, they smile with their hearts and not their minds because they feel everything. At this point, I want to say that there's no judgment towards anyone in the human world. As humans, we're here to learn about ourselves, our hurts, and our undeveloped selves through each other. So I'm not judging anyone who's ever been in my life or place blame for any hurts at any point in time. We're all growing together, and the psyche of a child is very different to an adult. So it's through the animals I came to realize I could feel the hurts of others. I could feel the burdens of others. I could feel the sadness of others. I could feel it deep down in my body, deep in the cellular matrix, what I call the cellular matrix, in the cells of the body. I could feel their hearts. And sometimes the world can be filled with pain, pain that is unspoken, pain that is felt deep inside, and yet it's repressed for fear it will overwhelm. And as that repressed pain becomes bigger, it might become anger. It simmers to become anger. And the hurts are unresolved. And these hurts are buried as humans focus on day-to-day activities, thoughts, other feelings, things like feelings of unworthiness and holding on to that discouragement, deep understanding of self and others. I could feel them all. The animals opened. They opened something in my heart. They activated me. But I didn't really know. I could feel them deeply, so there's no judgment for others. There's no blame, like I said. There it was. There it was as a child. I had no clue how to deal with it. I had no clue how to process it. I didn't have the cognitive understanding. Besides, this stuff is like woo-woo sometimes in some circles. What are you going to tell your parent? So I had no clue on how to process it. I had no clue what was my experience and what was not. I felt alone. I had all these feelings and I didn't know. But the animals knew. They knew. And they looked into my eyes and I could feel them. I could feel them inside of me, loving me purely, loving me so I could heal from the burdens that I carried. Some are my own, some were those of others. They could feel me. They accepted me without judgment. And I reciprocated. And there it is, a golden thread. It felt like a golden thread. And the connection that was born out of love. And this is how the story began. My story. The story of communicating with animals. As I grew and evolved, the animals presented themselves on their own. I could feel them. And then I could see inside of them, and I could hear them. So what is it like to communicate with them? First of all, I want to honor all of the animals that have seeked me through their humans and have shared their realities and stories with me. What I can tell you is that it's exhilarating. It's inspiring. Both of these together, it's expanding. It's heart-opening. It's touching. Words really don't have a way of expressing the feelings that are felt in an animal connection. But there's also suffering, for their burdens and pain are shared inside of me. And all I can do is support them to be heard on their terms and seen in this world, the human world, on their terms as they navigate their reality in the human reality. And you know, as a side note, babies and young children communicate in similar ways. I've had many experiences with babies and young children. They're wonderful. But that's for another time. But animals talk by feel. They sense everything in their environment. They're not disconnected from the body. They do not have a thinking mind the way that we have. And so when I connect with animals, sometimes I sense colors, pictures, and feelings in the body. And they taught me how to share these feelings with grace. I do my best. And honor. And not intermingling with the human mind and human projection as much as possible. This is how I build trust. Because if I don't honor and trust them, they just don't speak. They won't speak to anyone. And that's a teaching on its own, but for another time. They're filled with divinity. They're filled with the greatest love that one can ever experience. because it's pure. It's not ego-bound. They don't have an ego. Animals know when you see them. They feel heard. They feel seen and understood in the human world that's often blind and deaf to their truth. Does this sound familiar to my story? That's why we connect. So it's a gift that they shared with me when I was very young. And it's now my turn to reciprocate this to them with grace and honor. For animals are the fountain of wisdom that is not fathomable at times with the human mind. Rather, I've found it's etched in the deep chambers of the heart. It is with the heart that I can sense and feel them. The mind is just an instrument for translation of the feelings, the pictures, the colors, and all the different things that they share through the heart. For I've found that the mind is not the knower of all. It is indeed the heart, when it's not veiled, that is connected to divinity, that shares the silent whispers of the animals. So my name is Chiara Marapodi. I'm an integrative life coach, a trauma and stress recovery coach, an animal communication specialist. And my purpose on the planet is to support people to find their purpose, to navigate through stress and trauma recovery, and to see their animals from their point of view, and to share insights on many different points or perspectives with our humans. And I want to share with all of you the minds, lives, and voices of animals. So if you found that this message resonates with you, connect with me at wildvoicestalk.com or chiaramarapodi.com. I'll see you soon.